Alright, ready for the next tutorial, Mucity 3? So this would be my favorite track on the game for sure, if it wasn't for an awful glitch that often occurs. If you go really fast and you approach a jump plate, you can pass through its hitbox without it triggering, and that is something that really plagues the faster strategies on the game. On this track, the faster you go, the more chance you have of the glitch occurring. Nevertheless, this track is still amazing and a lot of fun to play. Almost everything comes together with different diving techniques and so on, floating. So there's a lot to see here. But I'm starting out with a simple grip based strategy as usual. The staff coach gets a 132 and that can be absolutely crushed, even with the easiest grip strategies already. So let's watch it. Alright, so 115. The staff ghost gets a 133. So around 18 seconds faster than the staff ghost. Already on strategy 1. And that's keeping it extremely simple as far as this track goes. And there's a lot of cool tricks to it as well that I will go over now. So my settings are insanely far to the right, about 5.5. And that's why I'm picking the Red Gazelle, because if you would pick the Twin Arita, it would be even further to the right, so this acceleration would be even worse. You might want to consider taking the Dead Anchor here as well, and that way you can put the settings just a hair further to the left to help with the acceleration. Either way, I picked the Red Gazelle because it's very good already for crushing the staff ghost. Now, the jump plate trick for simple dives completely applies here, and there are a lot of jump plates to do that on. So a lot of places to win a lot of time. So how does that work again? You want to approach the jump plate and then fully hold up on the control stick. And just when you hit it, right when you start floating up, let go of the control stick and let it sit in neutral position and just fly out. That way you keep accelerating really fast, like you would be diving down quickly, except you're not, so you have a massive distance because the control stick is in neutral position. An added difficulty for this track is that you really need to pick your ideal jumping line before you hit the jump plate, because there's no adjusting it once you're in the air. And if you do that, you can get a lot of distance from the jump, a lot of speed from the jump, but you can also take shortcuts here. You can really cut across a lot of corners, and because you get much more distance than you would normally get, you can cut more corners and even win even more time. So Of course, you also win a lot of time if you can preserve the speed through the corners by side attacking first and really keep your grip in process. So start boosting immediately in lap 2, then hold off with boosting so we can get through this corner easily and really on the inside, so take the insides of course. Do some side attacks to keep your grip. And now again, hold up on the control stick and let go. Using right side attacks, you just turn right over the dash plate. Again here, set up your angle. I'm actually using side attack when I hit the jump plate, or in lap 1 at least. And a boost, an additional boost in lap 2 to just get that extra bit of distance and cut just a little bit more of the corner. But that's, you know, icing on the cake. If you have the boosting strategy down, you have the jump plate trick down, you will destroy the staff goes easily. Now this is a very big one. Look how far I go. I land actually on the no walls part. There's no way you can possibly do that if you just take the jump plate normally. On this corner you want to start a little bit on the outside, start your left side attacks and then fully steer left into it while side attacking. Yeah, I don't boost through the refiller, just to refill a little bit more. Boost twice on the straight with the finish line. And use the jump plate trick again. It's probably harder than I make it out to be, because you really need to pick your jumping lines perfectly to be able to really fully take advantage of it. So that's definitely something to work on when you do this. I personally think that this might actually be the easiest Staff Ghost to beat, just because even if you drive just like this, you can already completely destroy it, so there's so much room for error and still beat it. But it's a technical track, so you really need to have some skills to be able to do this stuff. Yeah, and then the end of the final lap, just keep boosting to finish the race. There we go. 16, almost 17 seconds faster than Staff Ghost. There we go. Now there's going to be a massive jump in difficulty for Strategy 2, but Strategy 2 uses some really optional things that really up the difficulty. So they're optional, so you can do a much easier version of this strategy, but let's watch it first. So, high staff goes, by staff goes. Yeah, we're gonna lap the staff goes in this one. You can do so much crazy things with jump plates that they're really, if you go all out on it, that's just, it looks insane and you can go so fast. So a lot of dives are optional in this, and you can do them so well. You can build up so much speed if you do it optimally, that is. So yeah, let's go over it. Start out with a hard real drift on the left side. I drift into it, and from my testing that's about a hundredth of a second faster than just driving into it. But that's okay. So just keep your drift going around the first corner, nice and wide drift, and over a jump plate. And then when you hit the jump plate, the easiest version of a double tap dive that you could do from this is just mashing the R button and holding upright on the control stick. So just turn it right in the air while side attacking, and you know, you do a double tap dive, and it's pretty easy to land this one. Go over the dash plate, and you have a very nice, good speed boost. Now this whole track is a little bit of a chain reaction, because now we're taking along that speed from the first jump to the second jump. So what I do to set up a double tap dive here, I hold down initially, and then here you start holding down right while doing right side attacks. Move the control stick to upright. And then up and set your double tap dive to the left. I'm way over in this position. I'm holding up left on the control stick a little bit to dive down to the track and into the corner here. So if you do that super optimally, you keep like 1700 or so on the straight, and that's higher than. So the drift around that corner would not be beneficial because you're going so fast. So this is the biggest jump you could do in the track. Very important one, this last dash plate. You can see I'm about in the middle of the dash plate and it still triggers. If you would be just a little bit further ahead on this frame, you would skip through it. So this is a dash plate that in this strategy you might experience glitches on. How do I set up the dive? I land right before this dash plate, and then I just hold down left on the control stick a little bit and move it to down, just to float up for some air control. Set up prepare for a good diving position. Then left a little bit, just to fly to the left, and then down. Then set up my diving angle by right side attacking, move the control stick down right, up right, with two side attacks, and then eventually up. And now I'm just holding up and mashing the Z button to land on the no wall spot. And you can land well over 2000 kilometers per hour if you do it really well. So something that you can do is skip this corner here. You can, we're going almost 2300 kilometers per hour. We can, right when this thing begins, drive off the right side and just skip the corner through the air. You don't have to do that, you can just stay on the track. That's a lot easier, of course, but be careful around this corner because there's no walls. But the next corner, this one, is going to be a lot easier if you approach it from an angle like this through the air. So that's what I do. Don't cut up too early because you miss the checkpoint of the track and you might crash. But this corner is a lot easier to take if you hit it from the air. And it's really not hard at all, in my opinion, to do that, but you'll definitely need to practice it a bit to get a feeling for how that works. As soon as you enter lap 2, start boosting, and boost drift around the first corner into the jump plate. The double tap dive from the first jump plate is going to be just the same. You just hold upright and mash the R button to land actually on the dash plate pretty much in lap 2 and 3 because we're going so much faster now. We can land all the way over here, but at 1700 kilometers per hour, so we're going super fast. So you can see you take the speed along with you for each jump you get to. So this whole track works a little bit like a chain reaction. This is actually a pretty hard dive to land like this because you have to turn in the air quite a bit while you're diving down. skip this jump plate because now we're going just way too fast and we would fly over this one. Instead of the dive just the same way. You can, of course, we're going even faster, so it becomes even more worth it to take this little shortcut. And we drift through this corner normally, you can do that. If you go super fast, you might even want to do an air drift over it, because it's much easier to avoid crashing into the walls if you do an air drift. And you can even take a little bit of a shortcut doing that. But that's all optional. You can stay on the track and just drift normally through that corner. When you start out with this strategy, it's a lot easier, of course, but slower. Again, double tap dive, land on the dash plate, right before it. You have to time your right side attacks well to hit this jump plate, because you might end up on the left side of it. That's a common mistake for me. Side attack to this corner, skip this jump plate. I take the dash plate anyway. It's a little bit dangerous because you might hit it accidentally. And on the final lap I decided to go all out with the shortcut, so this is what you could do with the air drift. Just take a full shortcut and say hello to the Step Ghost and bye Step Ghost. And boost drift around these final corners and finish the race. So I think a reasonable and good time for this strategy is like 112 or so. But you can definitely get sub 110, like 109, 108. So my goal is 108, and I think that's a reasonable goal considering the difficulty of the next strategies and how good your dives need to be to pull those off well. So that's it for strategy 2. On strategy 3 we're going to push it much further with the jump plates, with the double tap dives. So the chain reaction aspect of the track becomes much more important, because we need to carry over a lot more speed for the next jumps to be able to do them the way I want in this strategy and win a lot more time. Goal time sub 1 minute, 58 seconds. Alright, so as you could see, the difficulty of this strategy is big. It's very difficult, but it's not enough for the world record. If you do this perfectly like the demo, you're not getting the world record. You need to go much crazier than this to be able to do that. As you can see, you really need to do those double tap dives really well to be able to go fast enough to be able to do the dives like I do in the video. That's why the previous strategy has a pretty tough goal time of 108. Because you need to be good at them to do it. So let's analyze. The beginning is the same, just air drift on the left rail and into the corner. Take a nice wide drift just to build up a lot of speed, and now we need to actually set up a dive, and I do that as follows. As soon as I hit the gym plate, I start mashing the R button. Then initially I hold down just to get a lot of height, and then slowly move the control stick down right. When I'm high enough, I'm starting to move it up, right, and up to set up my diving angle. So down right, down right, down right. And now I start moving it up, right, and up. So double tap dive Z. You can land this as a massive speed for the very beginning of the race, 2,000 kilometers per hour. You need to be very well timed with your right side attack here just to hit this gym plate. So when I hit it, I'm just holding down, not doing anything else. You want to hit it straight though. You want to go straight ahead. Then when I'm high enough, I'm doing right side attacks, move the control stick via down right to the upright position, because we need to make this corner below us count, this corner to the left. Then at this point, I'm starting at double tap dive C, holding up and up left on the control stick. And as you can see, you see the time disappear where the staff goes on the top right corner. That's because I'm on the absolute edge of where the checkpoints still count. Now if you hit this at 1800 or even 1600, that's more than enough. You can hold down left and down on the control stick with the left side attack. Then using right side attacks to set up your dive, moving down right to upright. So this is still down right, down going up right and up, and then double tap dive C down to the no walls part of the track, past this corner. If you fly to the right, fly out to the right too far, the game will make you crash because you miss a checkpoint on that little corner there. Now right before the structure over the road you can fly off. Now this is completely optional, and when you start out with it, don't do this dive. It's too hard, don't bother with it, you'll probably lose time. But if you go fast enough, you can definitely win time, but you mostly win the time in lap 2, because you start lap 2 at a much higher speed. So for your opener times, it's probably faster to just cut this corner without setting up a dive. But if you want to set up a dive, which is faster in the end, do it as follows. When I'm right about to enter the corner or in the air, I'm starting to hold down left on the control stick. No side attacks yet, just down left. Turn into it. Then at this point, when I'm starting to turn into it a little bit, I do the left side attack, move the control stick down left, to down, all the way down left, and then eventually up left and up to set up a right side attack to the road. So it's really a low dive form and diving position that I maneuvered myself into, and the only way I could get that perfect angle was by holding down left before my side attack just to get that angle perfect. So now we're entering lap 2 at a much higher speed than you would otherwise be able to do. And this is where we're gonna really win the time with that dive. So boost once and then boost drift around this corner. And now this next double tap dive is super hard. I want to counter steer on the drift, so when I hit the gym plate, I'm still holding down left from this drift and then holding down for quite a while to float up pretty high like this. So this is really gonna come down to practice and sort of feeling. So when you're around here, it's hard to say where exactly. You can see the finish line here, sort of orientation point. I'm setting up my dive pretty simply, and I do it as follows. I do 2 right side attacks and move control stick just down right to upright and then up for a dive to the left. Perfect position. So if you just float up straight ahead for quite a while and set up the dive like this, that's optimal. And it's not that hard really, but it's definitely gonna take some practice to get a feeling for the time. So now my ship is all the way on the side, perfect diving position for a low dive form double tap dive Z, and land right in front of that gym plate. A very common mistake is to land too far to the right so you crash in the rail. It's a very common mistake. So this is pretty much the same idea as the previous lap, except you're going way faster. You can optimally even land at 3000 km per hour. Now these jump plate glitches are extremely common. If you hit a jump plate at 2500 km per hour, it's extremely common. So you're definitely gonna experience a lot of them. So this is the easy way to turn around this corner, and if you do that optimally, you can even land at 1700, which is faster than you would be able to do with an air drift. So that's a very fast and good way to skip that corner in here. Yeah, so the jump plate glitch is extremely common. On the final lap, it's actually just the same. But it's good to know if you hit this jump plate at like 2500, which is insane, you're going so fast that you might want to skip a lot more of the track than what I'm doing in this strategy, and that's what we will see next. Yeah, so you can even jump plate glitch on the first jump plate in lap 1, and that has happened to me multiple times. If you play this track enough, you'll find out how common it is. Actually boosting the air here, because we are flowing after all, so you decelerate fast. So boosting in the air is definitely good. You can cut this corner, that's icing on the cake. Just don't do that unless you're really confident that you can actually pull it off. It's not important. 52 potential, that is super fast, but not fast enough for the world record. You need to go beyond this strategy to be able to get there. World record is 50 seconds. So, yeah, so we easily lapped the Steph Ghost in that one, of course. So the last strategy in the game, this is, I would rate among the hardest ones, 9.5 out of 10, but I just think that Firefield and Wildland 2 are just that little bit more insane and more difficult than this one. This is a strategy that I do all the time because I love this track and I played it so much. It's definitely doable, but it's very hard to optimize it. So let's watch it first. So there we go, just 2 seconds faster than the world record. This strategy is quite a lot harder than the previous ones. But lap 1 is the same. So you can just take your lap 1 skills along with you and start lap 2. And lap 2 is where it's going to be different. So just boost once and then boost drift around this corner and set up this double tap dive. Now this double tap dive becomes super important to do really optimally to be able to pull off this strategy, and that's what makes it so much harder than the previous one. So you really want to hit it like 2500. All I'm doing really is holding down on control stick, but you really want to hit this jump plate straight, in a straight line or slightly go to the right, because you are at risk of missing this corner checkpoint. If you're going too far to the left in your trajectory, you might miss this checkpoint. You want to hold down and you float up quite a lot, but you don't want to move to the right too much, because that's going to make the next double tap dive really a lot harder than it is and really not as fast. So I prefer to just float up straight, and then when you're around this part, wait, let's go back a little bit. So I'm just holding down, going straight ahead, flying up. So now we're doing a double tap dive where we really need to go a 180 in the air. We need to land going completely the other direction. And the only way to do that is to, first I'm actually holding upright just a little bit, just to set up the double tap diving angle just a little bit better, so the ship is really horizontal, because we want to not be tilted to the side, because that really limits our turning ability during double tap dives. We want to be as horizontal as possible. So that's why I'm holding upright first and then up. Now when the ship is more or less horizontal, and keep in mind I'm going 2100 kilometers per hour. This is all in an instant that you need to do this. If you're too late, you're flying too high, too far, wherever, you probably crash. So when the ship is horizontal, starting with my double tap dive Z, initially I'm holding up left all the way to make a big turn initially, and then I move control stick to about halfway up, halfway left, because we need to go quite some distance and really keep turning a lot in the air to the left. And that's really the way to do it. That's the way to make a 180. Start off from a horizontal diving position, holding up left, up left, up left, and now I'm holding about halfway up, halfway left. You don't want to land right in front of that jump plate, we don't want to hit that one. Very common mistake for me personally to hit that one. Do a right side attack and just keep a straight floating line. Actually a good trick that I use, hit the jump plate with one right side attack and set up a great floating angle. I look at this building in the background and I want to stay a little bit to the left of it, with the middle of my ship, just like this. That's as far right as you can fly, while still making the checkpoint for this corner or down here count. If you fly like this line, you crash. You skip this checkpoint. So this is about as far right as you can fly. So just to the left of the building is what I usually try to aim for. So you keep floating for quite a bit. You really want to boost in the air as well to keep your speed up. Then when I'm close to this corner, I use one right side attack, moving right. And then when I'm above the corner and this checkpoint is counted, I do a left side, double tap dive left, holding up left. So fully up left for quite a bit, because this is another dive where you really need to turn in the air a lot. You can take a little shortcut here and land in this left refiller, that's icing on the cake, but it's really a lot faster on this one because we're going so fast on that piece of road before the refiller. And there's Staff Ghost. Hello Staff Ghost, and bye. Yeah, so set up your dive just the same way in lap 3. Keep the ship horizontal, up left, halfway up, halfway left. And just fly out, and you can land past this jump plate if you do it perfectly. So wait until the speed drops below 2000 km per hour and then boost. When you're really close to this corner, do a right side attack, move to the right. And then with control stick up, left, and then halfway, keep holding up and then halfway to the left to complete the turn in the air. And just, finish like you would finish lap 2. Which is the perfect way to do it, and that's what any reasonable person would do, of course. But you can win 1 or 2 tenths more on this track by doing insane finish dives. And keep in mind, the odds of completing this track are super low, because the chances that you run in a jump plate glitch is super high. On top of that, it's super hard. The difficulty is through the roof on this strategy. So keep in mind, when you're all the way at the end of a perfect run, do you want to risk it all for 1 or 2 more tenths? No, of course not. But you can do that. And this is what it looks like. This is option 1. You want to float up higher than normal. Then right side attack, move to the right, then start holding up to dive down, like normal. And then just like the previous strategy, just do a double tap dive Z while holding up left on the control stick, except we're not gonna land before the refiller, we're gonna land on the end of the refiller. So now you wanna hold halfway up instead of all the way up and halfway left. Just halfway up and keep turning to the left, keep turning to land all the way over here, and you need to hit just the perfect spot on the wall to finish the race in a straight line. Of course nobody would ever do this, but hey man, what a finish. This is amazing. So this is a fantastic suicide finish that you could do, finish the race, and you win about 2 more tenths doing that. Except there's an even faster way, and that I showed in the real-time run. You can win a few more hundredths of a second for a third suicide finish that I'll show now. I'm not sure which one is harder, this one or the next one. I'm inclined to think that this suicide finish is harder than this one. This one might just be a hair easier, but it's in either way it's insane. And nobody would ever do that at the end of a run like this. So you need to go really high. This double tap dive needs to be absolutely perfect, almost 3000. And you can, on the top part of these walls, you can fly through it, cut this corner, and if you want to really go all out, you can finish while crashing in the rail. And there we go, the fastest possible finish on Mute City 3. So definitely totally worth all the risk at the end of a super low odds run already. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show for Mute City 3. I tried to go for sub 48, but I just couldn't make it. Either way, this is as fast as it goes. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show for Mute City 3, that's it.